Welcome to Fate Awaken, and we have here Awaken the Minis, Boneyard set from Icons of the Realms. Welcome to episode 2 of Awaken the Minis Boneyard series. Unboxing another 2 boxes. Neel, I'm gonna slice you open this time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
Uh-oh. I think I see a black pudding. Elder black pudding.
Elder.
Fancy, fancy.
It's the second week of oozes.
Ooze could be a theme.
This is a vampire spawn.
Classic, classic.
What is this? Death Knight.
Let me take a look at Mr. Death Knight over here.
And the final one of this box, a Death Block. I think that is the premium one of this.
It's an undead warlock.
Try box 2.
I'm just waiting on you to lose.
Alright. Oh, empty plastic. I love it.
He has fallen and he can't get up.
Is that a hand? Crawling claw. Okay, crawling claw.
More specific. Not just any hand. It's a claw.
It's a claw, exactly. I think we got that's a mummy of some sort. Just a mummy.
Straight up mummy.
Straight up mummy.
What is this?
Another ranger skeleton. And our last one. Looks like a squid of some sort. Juvenile Kraken.
Oh.
That sounds fun.
Interesting.
It's a baby sea terror.
And that is Awaken the Minis, episode 2.
Okay, so first up, we are going to go over the Deathlock. One of my personal favorite thematically creatures.
Yeah.
They are essentially warlocks who fail in life. So their patron just says, you thought you were dead, but you're not. So they are basically doomed to eternally serve their patron, even in death. Depending on the patron, there's a little bit of flavoring you can do there as the DM. Main things they have that I think is cool is turn resistance. So they have advantage against turn undead, which is like the go-to cleric move for fighting undead creatures. It's like, hey, I'll just turn them, easy peasy. Not so with the Deathlock. He is a CR4, paid 129 in Mordenkainen's.
A little bit of a weenie. Not too bad.
Yeah, you can throw a couple of these at a party. Not too big a deal.
Yep, a couple of them are all level 2s.
And there is, we don't have them here, but there is also the Deathlock Mastermind, Deathlock White, so you can kind of form...
They scale up.
Yeah, they scale up and you can kind of have an actual fighting party composed of various types of Deathlocks. But they're neat thematically. They're cool to be like... Especially if you have a warlock in the party that you can kind of scare with, hey, here's...
Yeah, I don't know if it was timed this way on purpose, but there's the new warlock that just came out, which I believe is the undead warlock, which is obviously designed for probably live player characters, but it's very easy to be like, oh, you clearly have an undead patron.
Yeah.
So this is what happens if you fail me.
They are experiencing the undead.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities to.
Also, as it relates to our campaign, I think a warlock that is immune to a cleric spell is just chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's kind of like you've used this way too much. Let's just throw a few of these at you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Break the sort of, what's the term I'm thinking of? The rut
Yes.
of fighting undead.
Yes.
Look at me, I'm undead. I can Eldritch
So what about this
Blast.
guy?
The Elder Black Pudding.
Yeah.
He's interesting. We do a little digging on him. So he is Tales from the Yawning Portal, page 143. That's where you will find him. Same sort of immunities, except he adds acid and cold, so acid, cold, lightning, and slashing, just as before with our previous ooze friend. He has the same ability. Cut him in half. He makes 2 smaller oozes that can still continue fighting. However, he has a new ability called Corrosive Form. So anything that touches the pudding or hits it with a melee attack takes 1d8 acid damage. Any non-magical weapon made of metal or wood is corroded. After dealing damage, the weapon takes a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty to damage rolls. If it drops to -5, the weapon is destroyed.
Yeah, it just sunders.
Yeah.
It just sunders.
Yeah.
So not only are you fighting this ooze, but if you do choose to hit it with a melee attack, it's going to destroy your weapons.
Yeah.
Assuming they are non-magical.
Yep. Try shooting a few arrows in those. You're not retrieving any of those.
Your arrows are gone. Again, this is somewhere where warlocks would shine in terms of being able to deal out damage.
Of course you would.
Or,
Like,
you know,
magical.
any spellcaster, yeah,
Mainly warlocks, just magic from a distance.
like any spellcaster, I agree.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think paladins are pretty
But yeah,
close range magic.
Have we mentioned how dope this sculpt is?
Yeah,
You can like,
you could put minis.
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
you can like fit something in there.
We'll get a
It's
little
not a
closer
small
review as
space.
well.
Yeah, I believe that's large. Can you fit? Can
Yeah,
you fit this
you
one in
can
there?
probably fit the large ogre in there, maybe. No, maybe not quite. an
Well,
ogre.
because size-wise,
Here's one.
the ogre's too chunky,
This
but
guy could probably fit in there.
the base will fit in there.
There you go. It's a decent size ogre you can fit in there.
Yeah, I mean you can fit a good mini in there. Maybe multiple minis. The whole party decides to.
Yeah, definitely 1 or 2
strike
normal.
ones.
Yeah, you can do
Normal
a couple
size.
small guys for sure.
Yeah,
Easily 2 of them.
and they've made a normal black pudding.
Yeah, just
Sculpts
for
before.
scale. Just for scale. That's a normal black pudding versus an elder.
Same idea, way bigger.
Yeah,
Probably
that's-
cut this thing and it turns into 2 of the small ones.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, DM note:
There you go,
if you
just 2 of
do
them.
happen to have your party fight a elder black pudding, make sure you have a couple of normal black puddings on hand to break them into.
Yep. And then get yourself some Play-Doh and make some smaller ones smaller than that.
Yeah, after that point, it's just for fun. And the smallest, or I guess one of the smaller minis of the set, but possibly the most potent of all, is the Death Knight, a CR-17, page 47 in the Monster Manual.
Knight.
He's got quite a few abilities. Before we get into that, a couple lore tidbits. They are immortal, so essentially a paladin falls from grace, has some form of falling out with their god, they become a Death Knight. And then to that extent, until they atone for the sin that caused them to fall from grace, they are immortal. They will just run in on hate, pretty much. Couple key stat points. I already said CR-17, immune to necrotic and poison. Pretty obvious there. Hellfire Orb is his sort of big attack. That is
The Nova.
the 10d6 fire damage, 10d6 necrotic damage, all in one hefty blow. It's like fireball on uber steroids.
It's like
Um,
2 fireballs.
Party
Yeah.
counts.
that is party wipe if I've ever seen one. Assuming the composition of the party, obviously. If it's a party of clerics, they probably die pretty quickly. Something along those lines. On top of that, he also is a 19th level spellcaster. So
Yeah. Yeah,
he's got quite the. He's got command. He's got destructive wave, which is a hefty spell.
Yeah.
I'll say.
I can see a Death Knight being a good campaign to go around. You can say the paladin fell from grace and you're trying to bring him back to the light. That'd be a good end boss as well that you try to either kill or bring him back to grace.
Yeah, they obviously hit hard and they have the melee. But, normally the biggest backdrop is, you're struggling for, AoE damage. But with the Hellfire Orb and Destructive Wave, they just, anything around you.
Lights anything up.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Also, I'm trying to remember this. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I believe they technically retain their divine power, but they can't heal.
Yes, it is specifically listed. Death Knight retains the ability to cast divine spells, but no Death Knight can use his magic to heal. It
is-
also attracts and commands lesser undead. So where you find a Death Knight, you will find his minions.
All his deathlock that he have before him.
Yeah, that's a monster you introduce early, and then it's like, all right, we're just running from this, and he just keeps pursuing you.
He's definitely there's a few named ones I believe throughout lore.
Oh, I'm sure.
So they're a good big bad because they're not a faceless enemy. They can have personality. They have a backstory of why they're fighting, what they're doing, and you're either trying to help them or they just are on a murderous rampage. It can be either way.
Innocuous looking, not all that dangerous. Just looks like a guy in armor until you're like,
it
God.
Yeah, it looks like a standard mini until you read the bottom.
For sure.
Very, very interesting.
You're like,
For
well,
sure.
this is not just...
You wouldn't expect that to be one of the strongest minis at this little gathering.
Yeah, like...
He will take out anyone on this
He
table.
will murder this whole table. Easily. All
That's
right.
the last. We will cover the Kraken at a later time when we get to our next set.
Yes. So that is our second episode. Remember, this is brought to you by Fun Around Game Shop. It's funaround.games. And thank you for watching, guys.